So some people might think the following hacks are cheating, but trust me, you're allowed to do them on your test and will make it much easier for you to pass. So let's get into it. After finishing the parallel park, people have failed for driving too close to the car when they're moving off again. To prevent this from happening, all you need to do is make sure you finish far away from the car that you're parking next to. So instead of parking really close to it, make sure you reverse back a bit and then finish there. Remember, on the parallel park exercise, you can finish anywhere within 2 car lengths from the car that you're parking next to. So to make it easier for yourself, don't park right next to the car and finish there. Not more than 2 car lengths away, but enough space for you to drive on again without you getting too close to the car in front of you. At the start of your test, it can be very stressful, so avoid parking in a place that's going to make you fail straight away. So in this example, you can see I've parked next to the curb, which is not the best place to park, because when you move off now, you risk getting too close to the curb or actually going onto the curb, which has happened on tests before and people have failed for this. So to avoid this, park somewhere where there's plenty of space, so like a middle bay. That's obviously, if you can do this, sometimes you've got no choice, but if you've got lots of empty bays to choose from, don't choose the one that's next to a building or next to a wall or a curb. Park in a bay that's free, that's got nothing next to it, so that when you start your test now, you don't run the risk of hitting the curb, and that way you have a stress-free start of your test, and then you can go on to pass. When you're doing the forward bay park or the reverse bay park, it's sometimes really difficult to see whether you're in the bay or not from inside the car, and the examiner's not going to tell you whether you're in or not. It's up to you to decide whether you parked in the bay. If you finish the maneuver outside the bay and then you drive on again, you will fail for this because it shows that you're not aware of where your car is. The easiest way to see whether you're in the bay or not is to secure the car and tell the examiner that you're going to check, and then get out of the car, walk around, and then see whether your car is inside the bay or not. If it's not inside the bay, you can go back into the car and then readjust it. You're going to get a minor for correcting it, but at least you won't get a serious fault for leaving it outside the bay when you could have easily just come out of the car, checked it, and then corrected it. This hack applies to people that are doing their test in a manual car. Now, some test centers like the one here, this is in Hendon, where one side is downhill and the other side is uphill. You don't want to make your test difficult from the beginning, so to make it easy for yourself, go and park somewhere where you're facing downhill. That way you're not going to get a hill start as soon as you start your test, and you make it easier for yourself to start the test without worrying about doing a hill start. So sometimes it's not always possible, but if it is, park facing downhill. That way when you start, you have a stress-free start of the test, and then you can go on to pass your test. Sometimes it's difficult to tell which way the steering wheel is facing. The easiest way to get over this is to turn the steering wheel so that the writing on the steering wheel is the right way around, and then move forward a tiny bit or back, and then you're going to see the car move left or right. Once it does this, you're going to know that your wheels are facing a certain direction, and then all you do then is turn the wheel the opposite direction until the writing on the steering wheel makes sense again. That way, you know your steering wheel is straight and you know your wheels are straight. And to test this, all you do is move forward or back a tiny bit and your car should move in a straight line. If it doesn't, you will know straight away once you start moving. If it doesn't move in the right direction, or if it doesn't go straight, you can adjust it again to make sure that your steering wheel is facing the right direction. There's been times where learners have failed because they've stalled and then the car has restarted itself once they've pressed the clutch down, but they haven't realized that the car is on, so they'll spend lots of time turning it off on when the car is already on. Now, you can actually tell whether the car is on easily by looking at the dashboard. When your clutch is down and the rev counter is above 0, this means that your car is on. Don't turn it off and on again because it's already on. Or if you see lots of red lights on your dashboard, especially if you see this oil can there, it means that the engine is off. Then what you can do is turn it all the way off and then back on again, and then when you hear the engine restart, that's how you know it's back on. And then after that, take your time to get the car into gear and check around to make sure it's safe, and then move off again. You'll get a minor for this, but it's much better than getting a serious for taking too long and not realizing that the car is on and then stressing out, when all you need to do is look at the dashboard. It will tell you whether the engine's on or off. So when it comes to the show me tell me section of the test, some people have found this a struggle, especially if you're not familiar with the car that you're driving on your test. What you don't want to do is mess around with the buttons while you're driving, especially if you don't know where it is. Instead, ask the examiner if you can pull over somewhere safe, and then you can figure it out. So what you need to do as you're driving, let the examiner know, and then find a safe place and do this safely. Make sure you check your mirrors and signal to a safe place. Once you've stopped, you can figure it out then by playing around with the buttons, and then the examiner will tell you to drive on again, and then you can try again while you're moving. If you can't figure it out, Try something and then leave it. You don't want to be messing about with the buttons too much and risk making a serious mistake. What you need to know is you can't fail for getting the question wrong. You get one minor fault, but if you're so focused on pressing a button that you lose control of the car or you drop your speed too much, you can get a serious fault for this. So instead of doing that, try something and then leave it alone if it doesn't work. That way you're going to get a minor fault and you won't get a serious fault for losing control of the car. Junctions are where most people fail their tests, and this is because they either didn't see another vehicle coming, or they came out too soon, or they just saw a vehicle come in but then they came out anyway. One way to make it easier for yourself is to make sure you can hear traffic coming from the other road, and the easiest way to do this and the best way to do this is to have your window open. If it's raining, you can have it open a little bit. Just having it open a tiny bit makes a huge difference. You can hear way more than you would do if the window is closed. So have the window open a bit. That way you can hear any approaching traffic way before you see it, and it will give you a better chance of hearing any approaching traffic from the right or the left, and that way you're less likely to come out when there's a vehicle coming towards you. Believe it or not, but I've seen a learner fail their test because the sun got in their eyes on a bright day and they couldn't see properly. You can avoid this by practicing wearing sunglasses on your driving lessons. Now, some people are really uncomfortable wearing sunglasses because they feel like it's too thick or they can't see properly. But if you get the right type of sunglasses that are not too dark, it makes it much easier for you to see when it's really bright outside. Which leads me to the sponsor of this video, which is firmu.co.uk. Now, if you've seen me on most of my videos, I wear sunglasses, and sometimes when I'm doing videos and editing, I wear my prescription glasses, which I always get from firmu.co.uk. I've been using them for years. They're really reliable, great customer service. So make sure you check out the link in the description and use the code for a discount and get yourself a nice pair of glasses. Going through a width restriction is nerve-wracking enough, but on your test it's much more stressful. If you approach it in the wrong way, sometimes you might get too close to the poles. Now, this doesn't mean that you failed your test. You can easily fix this. A hack that you can do that some people don't know you're allowed to do is just stop the car, open your window and bring the mirror in, and once you're through, push the mirror out again. Now, some cars have got electronic mirrors where you can press a button and then bring the mirror in and then out again. So if that's the case, you can use that as well. You can save yourself from a serious fault by simply bringing the mirrors in and then bringing them back out again once you're done. So those are just some of the hacks that you can use on your driving test to make it easier for you to pass. Remember, it's not cheating, they're allowed, so make sure you use them if you need to. And if you have any more suggestions for any other hacks, let us know in the comments so that we can add them on the next video. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.